Building 5 to 15 pounds of muscle in 90 days is not unheard of. Actually, my client Daniel managed to build 13.5 pounds on his lean bulk, Iggy, who's been lifting for over a decade, managed to build 9 pounds, and Kyle even managed to gain 17. All of these transformations are natural and completely achievable by anyone, as long as they are ready to commit and not find excuses within 2 weeks. I'm not saying it's easy, I'm saying it's doable. So if you're locked in and finally ready to make a change, in this video I'll give you the full strategy that I'm using with every single one of my clients so that you can finally change your physique in the next 90 days. This is not going to be an advertisement to my coaching program, although that is linked in the description. Everything that I'm going to share in this video is completely doable by yourself, and you do not need me to apply this strategy. Nor am I going to be vague and confuse you further just so I can sell you the solution. So now that we got that out of the way, here's what you need to do if you want to build 5 to 15 pounds of muscle in the next 90 days. Regardless if you're a beginner, intermediate or advanced, you will always build muscle at the highest rate when you are in a surplus of calories. So this needs to be addressed first before your workout routine. You need to find a calorie calculator online and find out your maintenance. When you get asked about your activity level and you are in between two answers, just go with the lower option. Let's say in this case I'm a 26-year-old dude, 186 centimeters and 70 kilograms, working out 4 to 5 times per week. Bam, I got my maintenance at 2545. This means that if I'm eating this many calories, I won't either gain or lose weight. Well, we gotta fix that. The best ratio for a lean bulk, in which the goal is to build as much muscle as naturally possible while minimizing the fat gain from a bulk, is a 10% surplus. So in this case, I need to add an extra 250 calories, taking us to 2800 for this building phase. Cool, we're on the way. Now, first thing I like to calculate is my protein intake. The ideal range is in between 1.6 to 2.2 grams per kilogram of body weight, or 0.7 to 1 gram per pound. Personally, I always go for the biggest number with myself and with all my clients as well, as if you overconsume protein, your body will naturally use it for energy, but if you underconsume it, you're just not going to build as much muscle as you can. So, better safe than sorry. In this case, I am 70 kilograms, so I'll multiply that by 2.2 and get 154 grams of protein. Sweet. Now we know that 1 gram of protein has 4 calories, so if we do the math quickly, we find out that we need to spend 616 calories for protein alone. The next thing I always like to calculate is the fat intake. Now, fat is crucial in our diets. If you don't consume enough, you will not be able to absorb protein and some vitamins efficiently, so you can really shoot yourself in the foot if you overlook this. The minimum healthy requirement is 20% of your total calories need to be in fats. Personally, I prefer going with either 25 or 30%, but this is up to you. In this example, we will go with 25. So 25% out of 2800 is 700, and then we need to divide this by 9 because 1 gram of fat has 9 calories, taking our fat intake to 78 grams. Now what's left are your carbs, so what we need to do is subtract from our total calories the calories we get from protein and the fats. So 2800 minus 616 minus 700, leaving us with 1484, which we then have to divide by 4 because 1 gram of carbs has 4 calories, and that will leave us with 371 grams of carbs. So quick recap, we got 2800 calories, 154 grams of protein, 78 grams of fat, and 371 grams of carbs. Now with every 5 kilograms or 10 pounds gained, I would strongly suggest you redo your numbers, as when you play with such fine lines as a 10% surplus, the weight gain gets covered quite quickly, and what used to be your surplus of calories will become your new maintenance. So keep this in mind if your weight plateaus for longer than 2 weeks straight at a time. In terms of training, you will need to be in the gym at least 3 times per week, and for the love of God, do not train with a full body split. A full body routine is either for a complete beginner who's never trained in their lives before, my grandma, or an extremely advanced athlete with a huge pain threshold. If you're none of these 3, do not waste your time and instead either do a push-pull legs, Arnold split, or upper-lower. If you want to grow on a full body split, you need to train like a maniac, and without the right muscle maturity and conditioning, it's just not going to be doable. You'll just get 3 average workouts and then blame genetics for not growing, when in reality you have no idea how to train yet. At least with the other 3 splits, you will hit some sort of mechanical failure due to volume alone per muscle group, and until you learn the ropes of training properly and get to know your body a bit better, this is just the best way to do it. If you can train 4 or more times per week, you will have the luxury of hitting all your muscle groups twice per week, and with the right volume per workout as well. This is the best place to be for fastest results, but I know this is a big ask for most. Here, I would probably add an extra upper body day, so for example, push-pull legs and then upper, or chest, back, arms, shoulders, legs, and then upper. You get a point. And if you can do 5 days, I'd introduce the second leg day. Now, the reality is you can still be consistent in doing all the wrong things that won't stimulate the growth you want. want. So when you organize your workout plan, keep the following in mind. Number 1, exercise selection. Prioritize compound lifts at the beginning of the workout and then spill into isolation ones at the end. In case you are completely new to this, compound exercises are utilizing at least 2 joints, such as heavy presses, rows, or squats, while isolation ones use just one joint, such as a bicep curl or a tricep extension. 2. Make sure you complete all exercises with full range of motion and correct technique. Half reps have killed more gym results than death itself, so make sure you leave your ego at the door. Besides you, no one cares how much you lift, so you might as well do it right. Number 3, train with a controlled tempo. A slow negative is a huge low-hanging fruit for hypertrophy. Ideally, you would aim for a 3 to 5 seconds on a negative, 1 second on the stretch, 2 seconds on the lift or the concentric, and 1 second on contraction. Number 4, keep your rep range in between 8 to 10 and aim to lift as hard as you possibly can, all while respecting the rules mentioned before. Full range of motion, correct technique, and right tempo. Number 5, once you have all of these, make sure you always track them. There are many free apps you can use, but if you're old school, keep a notebook of your lifts. Track the reps, the weight, and the rest time. Number 6, apply progressive overload. This is going to be key in making sure you progress continuously. For example, you got 3 working sets of 8 reps on bench press. If this week you complete all the reps with give 60 kilograms, then next week you will aim to increase the weight to 65. If that week you only complete 8, 7, and 5 reps, the following week you redo the 65 kilograms, and so on until you complete all the reps with proper technique and tempo. And once you do, you increase the weight again. You can see now why tracking is so important. You will never remember all your 20 sets per each workout, and if you don't know, you won't be able to push yourself to do better next time, and you will fall into the hamster wheel trap of not making progress. And number 7, after running a program for 12 to 16 weeks, either have a deload week, which basically means taking your workout intensity down to 60% so you can allow your body to rest further but without losing momentum, or do what I do and just wait for your next holiday and rest off completely. We talked about nutrition, we talked about training. The last important aspect of your journey is recovery, and by that I mean specifically your sleep. The more advanced you are, the more relevant and subjective recovery becomes, but for now I want you to worry about your sleep only and how we can improve it. 1. Having a sleeping schedule is crucial. This means going to bed and waking up roughly at the same time every day. Obviously there will be an occasional event where you won't be able to stick to this, but as long as 90% of the time is done well, you will benefit massively. This means no more binge watching shows till 2 AM even if it's a weekend, as you will pay the price for this during the week. 2. In terms of hours, aim for 7 to 9. Even if you trick yourself in thinking that 5 hours are enough if you blast enough caffeine, this will have a big toe in time. Yes, Bogdan, but I have a family to take care of. Look, I completely understand that, but if you had a money printing machine in your house, and I would tell you that this could print you money for an extra 15 years if you just leave it on standby for an extra 2 hours a day, you'd do it immediately. Well, you're that money printing machine, mate. Take care of your body, you only got one, and without it, you can't do anything. 3. I know sleeping temperature is a personal preference, so I will let you argue with science here, but the ideal range during the night is 17 to 20 degrees. You do with this information as you wish. When I swapped to this, it felt miserable for the first week. Then I got used to it. And then I got to love it a lot more. And lastly, I've been using and recommending these supplements before bed. 500 milligrams of L-theanine, 500 milligrams of magnesium threonate, and 600 milligrams of ashwagandha. The difference in sleep quality is palpable, but I never like to force supplements on anyone. So again, you do with this information as you wish. And speaking of supplements, which ones are in general the best for muscle building? Supplements become more relevant when your nutrition is lacking. If you are dialed in on a healthy whole foods diet and respecting the calories and macros, there are actually not that many I can recommend. 1 is creatine, as this is extremely difficult to get from whole foods alone. Here I would recommend a minimum of 3 grams per day, but for best performance have 0.1 grams per kilogram of body weight. Take it every 24 hours and it doesn't matter when. Pre or post workout has absolutely no effect on performance. I personally take it the very first thing in the morning. Give yourself 30 days before you'll start seeing benefits from it, and don't expect anything huge, but every 5% compounds. 2 is caffeine, either in a normal coffee or a pre-workout formula. This will positively impact your performance, but keep in mind you will build tolerance fast and might need to do 4 weeks on and 1 week off. And that's pretty much it. Protein powder will make your life easier with your intake, but it's not necessary if your food is in check. Other supplements that would impact your life positively from a different angle would be a multivitamin, a separate B complex, vitamin D, and zinc. For best performance though, I always suggest having your blood work done and supplementing according to your own needs. If you stick to this strategy, I promise you will be able to gain 5 to 15 pounds of muscle in the next 90 days regardless of your level, as long as you are committed. I've seen it happen with more than 600 of my clients. It's not easy, but it's definitely doable, and if others could do it, so can you. As I promised you at the beginning of the video, you don't need me to make this happen, to get in the best shape of your life. You now have all the relevant information, so it's not a lack of knowledge problem anymore. If you'd start working with me, this is exactly the strategy we would follow. The only difference is that I would make sure you actually do it. So if accountability is your biggest obstacle, unfortunately, I don't have advice for this. Even if you would start working together, what's going to keep you accountable is mainly the investment you make in yourself and me wanting a better check-in from you every single week. That's all. But for more than 600 people, this has been enough. If you're interested in a coaching program, the link is in the description. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, YouTube thinks you're probably gonna like this one as well. And as always, stay natty. I'll catch you on the next one.